In the face of religious intolerance, Roger Williams established the great state of Rhode Island on the principles of religious liberty and separation of church and state. Thanks to Williams' leadership, Rhode Island became a haven for religious minorities and inspired the framers of our Constitution to incorporate these important principles into our foundational documents. And in 1790, President Washington visited the Hebrew congregation of Touro Synagogue, the oldest synagogue in North America, and then followed up with a letter to the congregation when they asked about whether or not they would be allowed to exercise their freedom of religion in this new country. And the president wrote those famous words, "The government of the United States, which gives bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance." In that letter, President Washington reassured them that America would be a place where religious freedom would be recognized and they would be free to exercise their own religious traditions. President Trump has told us exactly what he did when he created the Muslim ban. The clear intent from the beginning has been to keep out as many people from Muslim-majority countries as possible, regardless of whether they are seeking refuge or asylum. This plan was never designed to make us safer, but merely to spread hate and fear and further divide us as a nation. Over 55 former intelligence and national security officials from Republican and Democratic administrations, dozens of top-ranked retired admirals and generals, a former Republican attorney general, and a Republican chairman of the 9/11 Commission all oppose the Muslim ban as hostile to American values and an overreach of presidential power. The Muslim ban has had a real and lasting impact on families across the country. Over 130 Syrian refugees who escaped hell on earth have resettled in Rhode Island. But because of the Trump administration's Muslim ban, they now live with the stress of not knowing whether they will ever see their loved ones again. This is unacceptable. People across the country are waiting in a constant state of limbo, including wives waiting to join their husbands here in America, fathers who have missed their children's births, and students who are seeking to study at our great universities. This is unacceptable. The ban also threatens to worsen healthcare shortages in rural America. For instance, Iran, Syria, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen, 6 of the 7 countries originally banned, accounted for more than 7,000 physicians practicing in the United States. And in 2015, Iran and Syria were 2 of the top 10 nations that supplied the United States with physicians. A 2017 analysis by a team of Harvard and MIT economists found that doctors from nations targeted by the ban schedule an average of 14 million patient visits each year. This is unacceptable. And just last month, while President Trump was tweeting about supporting Iranians after the killing of General Soleimani, his administration was actively blocking Iranians from seeking asylum and refuge here. This is unacceptable. The No Ban Act makes it unequivocally clear that we stand by the American ideals of freedom of religion. It provides necessary limitations on the president's ability to use overly broad language to inappropriately and indiscriminately target and label entire groups of racial, ethnic, or religious minorities because of who they choose to worship. We must not tolerate discriminatory actions that undermine our core values and threaten our nation's health and safety and security.